Welcome back to Up Front. And this question: are state leaders at odds over a big fix for crumbling roads and bridges? The Wisconsin State Journal recently reported the upcoming Department of Transportation budget won't propose any tax or fee increases and will instead emphasize maintenance of the most used roads and bridges. Governor Walker took to Twitter defending the DOT budget priorities. But some top Republican lawmakers blasted the transportation budget plan. Assembly Majority Leader Jim Steineke tweeted, "This is unacceptable. We must address the transportation fund in the next budget. Economic development depends on it. Time to lead." Representative Jim Steineke, the Republican from Kaukauna and the Assembly Majority Leader, joins us now on Up Front. It's good to have you back on the program.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be here.
Well, let's talk about your call for leadership on this issue. What does leadership look like? What do you want to see happen with the transportation budget?
Well, I think we need to fix it. I know where the governor is coming down on this. He's not proposing any new revenue for the transportation fund, but the truth is, we're looking at $600 million plus of a shortfall every budget cycle. And we're looking at delaying projects, delaying maintenance on roads, and we're going to pay for this at some point. So either we pay for it now and fix the fund for the long term, or we're going to make our kids pay for it down the road.
So when you talk about a fix, what are you prepared to do? What is Speaker Vos prepared to do? The co-chair of Joint Finance, Representative Nygren, what do you want to see done?
I think all options are on the table. The governor put together a commission a number of years ago to study the long-term funding for transportation. I think we're open to any of those options or a combination of them. But what we're not open to is not doing anything and letting our roads continue to deteriorate. And just looking at more problems down the road.
So as Republicans, you would be okay with, for example, a small increase in the gas tax or a hike in the vehicle registration fee? Would those things be on the table for you?
I think, like I said, all of them will be on the table. I think the reality is that we're going to raise taxes. It's already going on right now. The governor's position says that we're not willing to raise taxes. Well, taxes are being raised right now. Local units of government are instituting wheel taxes to fill the gap. They're looking at referendums for transportation spending. So taxes are going up. It's just that the fact is that the state is not doing its part in leading to a solution to this issue, and something that we really need to do.
So the governor goes back and blames some of this on former Governor Doyle raiding the transportation fund, that there were Democrats to blame for creating this problem. But he says he would be willing to talk about fixing the roads and bridges in a bigger way if you could come up with the revenue. In other words, if you cut taxes somewhere else, he might be willing to look at this. Can you cut taxes in order to fix the roads?
Listen, when we're having hard times with funding UW system, obviously we had to cut them in the last budget, funding K through 12, Medicaid is eating up about 90% of all the new revenue coming in. When you have those budget pressures, I think it's unrealistic to see that we're going to be able to offset it in the budget somewhere else. But something we'd be open to if the revenues are there. But we do need to find a long-term fix regardless.
Yeah, final question on this. Has this created any hard feelings? I mean, you've got a Republican governor who feels strongly about this issue, and yet you obviously feel strongly about it. Have you heard anything from the governor?
No, I haven't heard from the governor. I mean, I respect the governor in a lot of different ways, in a lot of his different positions. On this, I think we're letting our rigid ideology get in the way of reality. We need to get this fixed, and this next budget is the time to do it.
Let's talk a little bit about politics today. You were a never Trump guy. In other words, you said, I just cannot support Donald Trump. So you've witnessed the last week or last week and a half. How do you feel about things today?
I feel pretty good about my decision.
Why do you say that? Why do you feel good about it?
Well, I think what we've seen out of both candidates that are leading their respective parties is a lack of respect for the American people and a willingness to say just about anything to get elected. And I think they're going far beyond the pale. And when I talk to people, when I go door to door, talking about my election and the presidential election coming up, I haven't run into a single person that's excited about either of these candidates. So it's disappointing, it's sad, but I guess that's the state of affairs right now.
So on election day, what do you do?
I don't know.
And is there any, could you see any circumstances under which you could get behind Donald Trump between now and Election Day?
Based on what I've seen so far, I can't see that happening. What I'm encouraging people to do is, no matter how disaffected they are by what's going on at the presidential level, they still need to get out and vote down ballot, because the local races, the state races have a much greater impact than the national races do in many cases anyway. So what we're going to do is encourage people to get out. My focus is going to be on returning 63 members of the Republican caucus back to the Assembly.
Are you concerned at all about the impact that Donald Trump at the top of the ticket, presuming he is the GOP nominee, the impact that has down ballot, as you just mentioned?
Less so now than I may have been before. I see as I go to door, talking to people, what I see is people are focusing on the national for what it is. But when we talk about state issues, they're not linking us together with Donald Trump. I know that's going to be the Democrats' game plan, but I don't think it'll be effective.
You were going to go to the Republican convention, but you decided not to. There's still some talk in Republican circles about a way to stop Donald Trump, to keep him from being the nominee. Do you just think that's idle chatter at this point?
I think that's probably a fantasy made up by some. I don't think that's realistic.
Mm-hmm. And are you going to miss being at the convention, which is a big deal for party members?
Yeah, no, it would have been my first convention. I hadn't gone before, so I was kind of excited about it. But I also think that it should be a spot for somebody that is excited about going. And when it became clear that Donald Trump was going to be our presumptive nominee, it's just something I obviously wasn't very excited about. So I thought I'd open up the spot to somebody who might be.
Jim Steineke, the Republican from Kaukauna, the Assembly Majority Leader. It's good to have you back on the program. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Coming up next, erosion along Lake Michigan leaves some bluff homes literally hanging on. How bad is the erosion problem and what could be done about it? That's when Upfront continues.